All right, so, yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm talking about community today. I think community is absolutely everything. That's what I'm going to convince you of. So thanks for having me. I'm from Blackbird Ventures. We're a venture capital fund. We invest in high-growth technology companies. Everything from software to space, a whole bunch of different things. So some of them are up there. There's, like I mentioned, Canva is probably the most well-known one, but we also have self-driving cars and plant-based meat, and we have medical diagnosis stuff and chicken made from not chicken but other things. We've got a whole bunch of different stuff. As mentioned, I'm the creative director now at Blackbird. I'm also the head of our philanthropic foundation. Prior to this, I built community for us, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Before that, I was a business owner myself, so I ran an artist management company. We managed the Rubens and Cloud Control. We also ran a whole bunch of events, one of them being Sydney Craft Beer Week, a whole bunch of other things as well. It was a moderately or less than successful business, so I'm taking lessons from that today. So there's a couple of objectives. Number one, I'm going to define community for you and put it in a business context. Number two, I'm going to show you some examples of the types of community that you can build. There's a number of them. I'm going to give you some examples there too. Then I'm going to give you some practical tips on getting started, building community, and then finally, there's a whole bunch of resources that I'm going to leave at the end. So if you actually want to engage in this work, you'll be able to go away and look up some extra stuff. So firstly, what's community and why should any of you care? There's a lot of definitions out there. To me, community pretty simply is just a group of people with a shared identity, and they've come together for a common purpose. For as long as human beings have been human beings, we've been coming together and making progress because we've come together and because of cooperation. So I love this one, but as an example, if there's some kind of apocalypse, right, and I am here and you are here, and I give you an axe and I send you into the bush, and I say, come back with an iPhone, how long do you think it would take for you to come back to me with an iPhone? Yeah, never. You couldn't do it. The point is, we are much better when we come together, and all of the progress that we've ever made has been because we're able to cooperate and we're able to come together and form communities. From a business context, community affords you the opportunity to build relationships with your customers. Most businesses have transactional relationships. So customer needs a product or a service, you provide that product or service, so they come to you, they might give you some money for that, you give them the product or service, and then they go away. And there's nothing wrong with this. A lot of businesses run like this and are really successful, but I think there's an opportunity to do something more meaningful. And particularly at a time when people are starved for meaning in the world. Every year that goes on, we're just kind of losing little bits of things that are important and that make us human. And I think you have an opportunity as business owners to build relationships that are greater and that have more depth to them. So as a community, as a business owner, you can also build a community that builds trust and loyalty, creates brand awareness. And for the people who are in the community, communities create a sense of belonging and purpose for their members. All right, so there's a number of different kinds of communities that you can build. I'm going to run through a bunch of these now. I'm going to give you some live examples. I'm going to go as fast as I can, but there's like 60 slides in this deck, so you just give me the hurry up if I'm not going quick enough. This is the general model of the different kinds that we can build. So there's support and success. There's product ideation, innovation and feedback, acquisition and advocacy, content programming, external engagement, internal engagement. I'm going to go through all of these, but the point is they all have a different purpose. And part of your job as business owners is to decide what the objective you have behind building a community is. So first one, support. So this is where members answer questions for other members that help them succeed with your products or services. So the best example that I can think of off the top of my head is Apple. I've got another example in a sec, but if you've got an iPhone and you've ever had a problem with it, like for some reason you can't call your mum, the first thing you do is go and Google that, and the first result that will come up is the Apple support forums. And so if you go on those forums, you'll find answers to your questions that might help you fix the problem with your iPhone. The thing is, no one from Apple has come up with those answers. It's all people from the community. So support communities provide an opportunity for members to be able to help each other solve those problems. Another example, I'm going to give a bunch of these kinds of examples. I'm a home brewer, so I'm in a bunch of beer communities. This one is for a product called Firmzilla by a company called Kegland. There were a bunch of problems with this thing when it came out, and I bought it, and the first thing I did was like go on the internet and try to figure out why I couldn't get it to seal properly. First result that comes up, Kegland started a Facebook group, and anybody, it's called the Firmzilla, like heaps good Facebook group or whatever. And the first thing that people do when they buy one is they go onto this forum and they try and figure out why they can't get it to seal properly. No one from Kegland is on this forum answering any of those questions. It's all the community. So there are a bunch of advantages around that. Obviously, as a business owner, it means you don't have to provide the same level of support that you would if you were trying to figure all these things out yourself. Also, it helps people in your community. The advantage for members is that they get an answer probably quicker than they would. They also get like a sense of, if you answer someone's question, you get a sense of like, it feels good to provide knowledge to people. That raises your standing in the community. So there's all these intrinsic reasons why, as a community member, it's, you know, it's motivating for you to actually get on there and try and help people. Product ideation, innovation, and feedback. This is where members share ideas and feedback in a community that will be used to drive innovation and product improvements. So what that means is a community or a forum or some kind of group where people get on and tell you what they want to see from you in your products or in the services that you provide. Here's another beer example for you. So if you go onto this is a beer software called, for home brewers called Brewfather. And if you go onto their Facebook forum, and you're like, hey, I really love this app, I think you're missing something, or there's a bug, or I'd like to see this feature, you get directed straight here. And you can fill in a little form, you tell them what you want them to do. The guy who owns the software and writes it will categorize all those things and rank them, and then you can go here and see when your suggestion is going to get implemented. There's a lot of advantages to this. As a business owner, you don't actually have to guess about what your customers want. You can actually go and ask them, and they'll tell you, and they can get ranked. And there are all these systems that will help you figure out what to actually make for them or what to provide for them. So there's less risk in that. And then also as a community member, if I like pull out my phone and I open up the Brewfather app and a suggestion that I made 2 months ago is now in the app, that feels really good. I feel heard. I feel like I have some kind of involvement or ownership over the app itself. And it just kind of, it increases those intrinsic rewards that I get as a member of that community. All right, acquisition and advocacy. This is creating a network of ambassadors and advocates who will drive awareness and growth for your business. So, best example I can think of here is CrossFit. Does anyone do CrossFit in the room?
Yep.
Yeah?
I get cross when I get fit.
You get CrossFit. Okay. I guess we don't have one in Orange, I don't think so.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah? CrossFit, where's your box? Down there, great, cool. So CrossFit is like, anyone who does CrossFit, we probably don't, I don't know, there's not many people in the room, but people who do CrossFit, if you know anyone that does it, they'll just bend over backwards to tell you all about it. They love it. And so people describe CrossFit as like a religion. Now what they've done here is, you can start a gym, buy some equipment, let people come in and use that equipment, but CrossFit is a totally different experience. When you sign up or when you go into that gym, first thing that happens is that there are welcoming rituals. They actually make you feel like they want you there. And then you have people who have a shared identity with you, and that they're CrossFitters, and they have shared goals with you. And they'll actually help you achieve those goals. So if you don't show up one day, they call you. They'll get you back there, And then they do events as well outside of that. They do social things to build relationships between the members there. They do like charity work. There's like CrossFit gyms all over the world that you can stop in and visit. The point is, CrossFit has built a community that delivers so much more value to people than just some gym equipment. It's like I say, it's like a movement for them. It feels like a religion for the people in it. And so this is an example of a community where you build a community within the product that you've got or the service that you've got, and you drive more value and meaning for the people who are there. And then that increases their engagement, means they're likely to spend more, means they're going to go and tell all of their friends about CrossFit, and they're going to try and convince people to sign up. So there's a lot of advantages for you, but then for the members as well, they get meaning, they get purpose, they get people coming to the gym whose lives are better than they would have been before. And this is community. That's some of the stuff that you can do. this Lululemon's got a similar thing, but I won't use that. I don't think I'm running out of time, am I? How long have I got? Oh, cool. Okay. So Lululemon does a similar thing. They sell athleisure wear, right? But people with, like, if you go and buy some of this stuff, you can sign up for their community, and then you can do things like they run running events, they host like gatherings, they enter competitions together, and again, it's like people with a shared identity, and that they're into fitness, they have shared goals, and they want to be fit, they want to look good, and they help each other do this together. So you don't always have to have Lululemon stuff to get involved in this stuff, but that's kind of the gateway into it. So again, they're adding more value than if you were just to like sell a pair of tracking decks to someone. Content and programming. So this is building a community of people who are contributing the content that makes up the product or other assets. So that's simply people who actually make content for your business on your behalf. User-generated content, it's called. Biggest examples of this is social media networks. So TikTok up there, I'm slightly a bit, I have TikTok, I'm a bit too old to use it well. It's a piece of software, right? It's a whole bunch of code. But you go on there to look at the videos and to flip through the videos. The thing is, no one from TikTok makes any videos, right? It's the users that make those videos. And every social media platform is the same. Like Twitter, Instagram, they all rely on users to create content for them. Back down to, well, not quite yet, Wikipedia is another example as well. No one from Wikipedia has written an article. Everything that's up there, it's a free encyclopedia for the whole world. Every article was written by the community. A little bit closer down to earth, you can also use this sort of approach to community to run marketing campaigns for yourself. So this is an example of a hotel group in the US. They could have hired an agency, they could have hired photographers, they could have hired actors, and put together a campaign trying to convince people to come to their hotels. But instead, they made a hashtag, they said to their users, hey, if you're having fun with us, do you mind sending some photos or putting them up online and hashtagging it, and we'll repost those to our channel. So what they get is something that's firstly way more authentic because they're real people having a real good time. Secondly, they give the members, the people that submitted those photos, they're sharing them on their own platform. And so it's like 18,000, 19,000 followers there. So people get more followers, they get a little bit of social credit, all these intrinsic rewards that make them feel better than if they saw, some kind of actor or model being photographed and advertising those. So you can use community this way as well to help you market your business and to help you get content that you're going to be able to use to attract more customers. External engagement. So this is building a community of people who have common interests that's related to or focused on a brand or product. So this is different to CrossFit in that you have to be a member of CrossFit to go in there and to engage in the community. This is creating a community around a common purpose or goal that's related to your business, but you don't have to be a customer. So an example here, I could use homebrew examples again. I'm in plenty of homebrew communities, but here's an example of Nike. If you're into running, you don't have to have a single piece of Nike clothing or shoes to download the Nike running app and to get free access to be able to run, and it tracks your runs, and it lets you share those runs with your friends, and you can compete online with your friends. But then it gets interesting. They also do like competitions, so they have Nike marathons. They also have all these other things that you can engage with and get involved in that don't actually require you to have anything to do with Nike. But what you're doing is you're bringing people together. These people have a shared identity, common purpose, as with all the other ones. They help each other achieve these things, and all of this is wrapped in the umbrella of Nike's brand. And the aim eventually is that you drive acquisition, and you get more customers, and you get more people interested in Nike stuff. I'm just going to speed through these. We don't have time to cover all of these, but Culture is another great example. They have this thing called People Gigs, if you want to look it up. This is a homebrew community. Again, I'm a part of Kegland. They sell homebrew gear. But this is a community of just homebrewers that swap recipes, that give each other brewing tips. You don't have to buy Kegland stuff at all to be a part of this Facebook group. But there's 6,000 people on there who chat every day and swap ideas and basically help each other become better brewers. Internal engagement, I'm not going to go over this, I'll just touch on it quickly. Inside your organization, you have employees, you have stakeholders and people like that. You can build a community out of these people as well. All right. How to get started? What are we, 1 minute? 2? All right, good. How to get started? All right, step 1. What are your business objectives? This is the first thing you got to figure out. What do you actually want from a community? Why do you want to start one in the first place? Maybe you want feedback on your products or services, maybe you want more customers, maybe you want deeper engagement from the customers you already have, maybe you can't deal with all the support requests that you've got. Once you figure that stuff out, once you know what you want, that's the easy part. The next part is the bit that everybody skips. You got to figure out what they want. 100% guarantee, no customer is going to want to join a community to get you more customers. Like, that's just, they don't care. They don't care about that. So you got to ask yourself what they want. And hot tip, you can figure that out by asking them directly what they want. So find like the 5 or 10 people who are closest to your business and just ask them. Maybe they want to get tips on how to make their house look better, or maybe they're into gardening and they want to be a better gardener or get seeds that they don't have access to, you know. Maybe they want to get better at brewing beer. Maybe they want to place the work that is in their living room. There's a million different reasons they might have to want to actually come together with other people. You just got to go and ask them and figure them out. Where your business objectives are and where their objectives are and where they kind of overlap, that's where you've got space for a community. Number 3 is just to get started. If you go Google this, there's all these like business canvases and frameworks out there that will help you figure out the stages to go through building a community. But I think those things are valuable, but more important than that is I think just to actually go out there and get started. Organize a meetup, find like a bunch of customers you have, ask them what they want. Like get a Facebook group going, whatever. Once you have that thing started, your next mission is to figure out a purpose, and you define that with the members that you bring in. Again, it only needs to be like 5 or 6 people. What is it they want? Maybe the mission is like, we want to be better gardeners, or we want to provide more flowers in our community for bees to hang out in, Whatever it is, define it, and that mission as you define it will be what sucks more and more people into that community. Here are some random tips. These are in no order. I'm just going to breeze through them. Content and programming is the fuel to the fire, all right? That's what's going to actually drive engagement and build your community over time. Be consistent in your content and programming. Don't start a Facebook group and then post once a week. You have to be in there every single day as the leader of that community, driving the engagement. It takes time. You just can't hack your way to it. You've just got to spend time on it. There's no fast way to build a meaningful community. Move quickly. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things. If something doesn't work, it's fine. Just move on to the next thing. Community will be forgiving if you are pure of heart. Online and offline work really well together. Don't be afraid to use the two of them. Start small. 10 of the closest people to your business is fine. It's not an audience. You don't need 1,000 people to get started and do something meaningful. You need 5 to 10 people. That's it. All right, resources real quick. CMXHub.com. That's a community for community builders. Meta. They've also got a podcast called Masters of Community. There's a great book. You can't get it on Booktopia, but it's on Amazon called Get Together. They advocate for just getting started, building community with your community, and I'm a big believer in that. And finally, everyone should get this book. It's incredible. It's called The Power of Moments by Dan and Chip Heath. You can get that at Booktopia or Amazon.